What if I told you the Greek gods weren't just myths, but memories of something real? Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon may not have been just myths, but distorted memories of real rulers, lost civilizations, or something far stranger. Ancient texts describe gods descending from the skies, wielding impossible powers. Were these just legends, or did the Greeks witness something beyond their understanding? And what about demigods like Heracles? Were they exaggerated accounts of real warriors whose feats became legend? But the real mystery, the forgotten gods, worshipped in secret, their followers performed strange rituals in hidden temples. Some say these were remnants of an ancient knowledge now lost to time. And those mythical creatures, the Minotaur, the Chimera, were they inspired by real encounters with terrifying beasts, or genetic experiments of an advanced race? The fall of the gods coincided with the collapse of civilizations. Could the Greek myths be warnings of past catastrophes? Did the ancients leave behind hidden clues about real events we've ignored for centuries? What do you think? Were the gods real in some way? Let's uncover the truth together. Greek mythology presents a pantheon of powerful gods ruling from Mount Olympus, yet their stories bear striking similarities to historical power struggles among ancient rulers. The transition from the Titans to the Olympians mirrors real-world shifts in power, where old dynasties were violently overthrown by new rulers. Could the war between the Titans and the Olympians reflect an ancient conflict between two civilizations, one now lost to time? Some historians argue that Zeus, the supreme ruler of Olympus, may have been inspired by an ancient king whose leadership solidified a powerful ruling class. His father, Cronus, was said to devour his own children to maintain power, perhaps a metaphor for a ruthless dynasty that eliminated heirs to prevent rebellion. The myths may have originated as oral histories of past conflicts, distorted over centuries into supernatural tales of gods and giants. Greek creation myths bear similarities to Mesopotamian and Egyptian, all of which describe divine struggles and celestial wars. Could these myths be echoes of a common historical past shared by early civilizations, remembered in different forms across cultures? Demigods were revered in Greek mythology as extraordinary individuals who walked the line between gods and mortals. Their superhuman strength, divine protection, and heroic deeds made them larger than life. But could some of these demigods have been real historical figures whose exploits were exaggerated over time? Hercules was known for his 12 labors, which ranged from slaying the Nemean lion to capturing the Erymanthian boar. These labors, when analyzed, resemble ancient military campaigns. Some scholars suggest that Hercules might have been a real warrior whose conquests across Greece, North Africa, and even Asia Minor were mythologized. Other demigods, such as Perseus and Theseus, also have tales that may reflect historical events. Perseus' slaying of Medusa could symbolize an ancient warrior defeating an unknown enemy tribe, whose warriors might have worn ceremonial masks resembling snakes. Theseus, who defeated the Minotaur, could represent a historical prince of Athens overthrowing the dominance of Minoan Crete. If real, these figures would not have possessed divine powers, but their impact on history may have been so great that later generations elevated them to the status of demigods. While the Olympians dominated Greek religion, many lesser-known deities were worshipped in secret. Their cults often performed mysterious rituals, and some of these gods were linked to darker aspects of life, death, magic, and hidden knowledge. Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft, was often invoked at crossroads and associated with night and the underworld. Her cults performed secretive rites that involved burning offerings and summoning spirits. Some researchers believe Hecate's worship preserved knowledge of pre-Greek shamanistic traditions, hinting at an older civilization whose religious practices were absorbed into Greek culture. Another intriguing deity is Dionysus, the god of wine and ecstasy. While often depicted as a joyous reveler, his cults engaged in frenzied rituals that included animal sacrifices, dancing, and possibly the use of hallucinogenic substances. Some historians believe Dionysian rites preserved remnants of an ancient mystery religion that spread across the Mediterranean before the rise of the Olympians. The Eleusinian mysteries, dedicated to Demeter and Persephone, were another secretive religious practice. Initiates were sworn to secrecy about the rituals, which were believed to grant enlightenment and even hints of life after death. Could these cults have been remnants of an ancient priesthood guarding lost knowledge? The existence of these secretive deities suggests that mainstream Greek religion may have overshadowed older spiritual practices, many of which were preserved in hidden cults and mystery religions. The Greek world was filled with tales of fantastic creatures, some terrifying, some majestic. But could these creatures have been based on real animals, misunderstood by ancient storytellers? Griffins, eagle-lion hybrids, were popular in Greek art, but some scholars believe they were inspired by fossilized remains of Protoceratops dinosaurs found in Central Asia. Ancient traders who encountered these remains may have interpreted them as evidence of winged creatures. Even the Hydra, a many-headed serpent, could have originated from real encounters with large pythons or Nile crocodiles, exaggerated into a multi-headed monster that grew stronger when wounded. Many of these myths may have started as real observations of unfamiliar animals, later transformed by imagination and oral storytelling into legendary monsters. Ancient Greece was not the first great civilization of the Mediterranean. Older cultures, such as the Minoans and Mycenaeans, left behind ruins and artifacts that hint at forgotten histories that may have inspired Greek mythology. The legendary Golden Age, in which gods and mortals coexisted peacefully before the rise of Zeus, might be a cultural memory of an earlier civilization that predated the Greeks. Some ancient texts speak of the Pelasgians, an enigmatic people who lived in Greece before the arrival of the Hellenic tribes. Could they be the inspiration for myths of a forgotten age of heroes? If these lost civilizations influenced Greek mythology, then the gods and their stories may be reflections of real historical shifts, preserved in the form of legend. For centuries, the Greek gods ruled in the hearts of their worshippers. But over time, their temples fell into ruin, and their voices faded. Why? One reason could be the rise of philosophical thought. Greek philosophers such as Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle questioned the nature of the gods and suggested that human reason should take precedence over myth. As intellectual movements gained influence, belief in the gods weakened. Another major factor was the expansion of Rome. While the Romans adopted many Greek gods, they rebranded them, giving them Latin names and new narratives. Eventually, Christianity spread through the Roman Empire, absorbing or replacing the old gods. Some myths even predicted the gods' decline. The Oracle of Delphi once prophesied that Apollo's temple would one day be abandoned. Stories of Zeus' impending overthrow hinted at the idea that even gods were not eternal. As we unravel the layers of Greek mythology, a fascinating possibility emerges: that these stories are not entirely fiction. They may be echoes of real events, distorted by time, but carrying within them traces of history. Could the gods have been ancient kings, their stories exaggerated over time? Could the Titans have been an older civilization, wiped out in a great cataclysm? Were the myths of heroes simply glorified accounts of real warriors whose legacies survived in the only way people knew how, through storytelling? The gods may no longer be worshipped, but their stories endure, reminding us of a distant past where reality and legend were one and the same. What do you believe? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more mysteries of the ancient world. Until next time, keep questioning the past.